Says we're live.
Woohoo!
See if it's actually doing it. Says we're live.
It says we are indeed.
It does, but there's nothing on the screen. Waiting.
I am going through commercials now, looking at us, and let's see. Oh, yeah, we're live. I can see us. We're good.
All right. Well, there we go. Now it's popping in. There's popping in. Okay, good. Yay! Good morning.
Morning to you.
Happy
Saturday mid-morning.
Yeah, it's mid-morning for you. It's pretty early for us. It's 8 o'clock here.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, you probably already put in half a day, huh?
Got up real early this morning and hung some lights. These snowflakes behind me, when we get done today, I'm going to build 12 or 16 left to build of those, and then they're pretty easy to build. And then I've got to build a new cabinet. I got a box over here, so we're doubling our channels for our show. We have what 2.5 weeks before we go live, and we have probably 50% of the work left to do. So we have a ton of stuff to get done this year.
Nice. That sounds like fun. So
it is. Charlie,
tell me about. So you guys have 2 channels, right?
Yeah. We have the Christmas on Crestline, and then we have multicasting. And multicasting, one of my best friends is Bart Brunsheen. He actually is 50% of the Scotch Test Dummies. I'm good friends with Scott as well. They were the original YouTuber who did reviews of whiskey, and he's been on me for years. He actually helped me start my YouTube channel. He was a motivation for it. He goes, man, you've been doing this forever. Christmas lights, there's not a genre for it on YouTube. You need to jump on. And still to this day, amazingly, I am still the only YouTuber who does an AC Christmas lights. And AC lights are just a normal string of Christmas lights. But I'm still the only guy who does a show year-round about AC Christmas lights, and that amazes me. But yes, we have Multicasting, which is our whiskey review show, and we have Christmas on Crestline, and both are year-round shows.
And I am remiss because I keep saying I need to go look at that multicasting. It sounds really interesting. And I know I have a grand who's very, very interested in whiskey. That's his passion these days. And so I keep forgetting to tell him to go and check that bar.
Yeah, we have fun. That show's actually with me and my wife. We're a tandem on that show, and we get a little silly sometimes. But we have a lot of fun. And we are actually aging whiskey right now. We have 10 gallons of single malt whiskey aging in the Blackland Distillery down in Fort Worth, Texas. And we do some experiments of aging whiskey at home as well. And we like to do the distillery tours. We're incredibly small channel, but we've gotten lucky for whatever reason. And distilleries keep inviting us to do collaborations with them. So we'll get on there and do stuff with you. So it's pretty neat.
That sounds wonderful. And that's down in Fort Worth. That's kind of my neck of the woods.
Oh, very nice.
I've got family in Denton.
Okay, yes.
We're down there all the time.
Yep, it's a great. We go down there. Gene and I go down there at least once a year, just to tour the stockyards and have fun. And we're big fans. We're in Wichita, so Wichita State is our local college, and that's where they play the tournament the last 4 years. They'll play there again this year, so we always go down there and have some fun with them and support our local team.
Yeah, that's cool. Now tell me again, what was the name of the place down there in Fort Worth?
Blackland Distillery. Blackland Distillery is who we are aging some whiskey with, and they don't do single malts. We are the very first single malt they've ever done, and to create part of the creation of whiskey is what kind of yeast strain. And my wife Jean is huge into the pepper notes, so she requests that they use a yeast strain that traditionally gives off a peppery note. And so we actually selected one that's usually made from Belgian beer. It's the first time it's been introduced into the whiskey world. So we're very excited about this experiment and see what it will come to fruition and what kind of flavor notes we'll get out of it. So yeah, it's pretty neat. It's exciting stuff.
That's very cool. So is whiskey something that you can do like a home, like you can make wine at home, you can make beer at home. Can you do that with whiskey?
You can. We take moonshine, or white dog as it's called, or white lightning even, and we take that and we make that into we barrel age it ourselves. And the reason why we don't actually make the actual juice at home is both Gene and I have friends who made beer and had their homes exploded because they didn't pay attention to beer. So we do not do that at home.
It happened to us.
Oh, really? Your home exploded?
We had some beer in the garage, and it was doing its thing. And we woke up one night, and I thought there were gunshots in the garage, and it was exploding all over in there. It was quite the nightmare.
Wow.
It was quite the mess.
Hold on, Gene. I'm not live on my wife's saying, "Hey, Charlie, you're not live." We're not live on my channel. Charlie? We're live on Roaming with Rover channel. I emailed you the link. But good looking out. My wife's hold up the sign. You're not live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nice. Good looking out, wife. I appreciate that about you. You want to come on camera and say hi, wife?
Yeah, come on.
She says no because she just rolled out of bed. I appreciate that about you.
Oh, nice. Well, let's say good morning to a few people.
Yeah, let's do it.
In. I see Miss Dana finally joined us.
Yay, Dana. I love Dana.
I know. She's the bomb. I love her. And we've got Gwen is here, and Nancy, and hey, Marge, good morning. Hi, Crochet in Agreement. Hi, everybody. And Hooked by Donine. Sounds like you've got a busy day getting ready for a craft sale. A mouse? Oh, Dana finally got a mouse.
Good job, you. Good job, you. Well played.
She's so funny. She is so funny. She had her big show the other night, so we wore her out.
Oh, good. Well, it's fun to see. My favorite part of all this is the camaraderie.
Yes.
Like, I know Dana, and now I know you from Dana's Christmas in July events, and I love the cross pollination, if you will, of all this YouTube.
Yeah, it is wonderful. Oh, and now we froze again. I hope this isn't going to be a thing this morning.
Hey, you know what? It's frosty outside. It's frosty on YouTube. It's frosty everywhere.
It is. Good morning, Miss Terry. So the main reason, and I do want to talk to you more about that whiskey, but the main reason we've got you on here today is because of your Christmas stuff, your decoration.
Yeah.
Although now, if those of you who have popped in and checked out his channel, he's doing Halloween decorations too. So I suppose Easter is going to be the next one. 4th of July.
Well, here's a caveat to that. So I've been doing hanging Christmas lights I've been with my wife. We've been married 10, but together 12. So I've been doing the light show 12, going on 13 years. Been doing the YouTube show, technically 5, but really only, like we're doing right now, only about 4. And I start hanging Christmas lights. Haas from shout out to Haas from Off Kilter Homestead. But his wife's birthday, Hannah, her birthday's September 15th. And I know that it's forever ingrained in my memory because I always start hanging lights the first weekend after September 15th. And I usually don't get done until Thanksgiving morning. Wow. So I've never fallen off a ladder. I've never fallen off the roof. In fact, I actually, Jean, my wife, is incredibly and infinitely more handy than I will ever be. She actually built me a portable staircase so I can just climb up the stairs onto the roof. So luckily I've never fallen down, but at some point I'm smart enough to know that I will. So I've dived into what's called projection mapping. We just did our first show this Halloween. And basically that's when, for folks who've ever been to Disney World down in Orlando, they may do it in California. I don't know. I've never been to the Disneyland. But for Disney World, they turned Cinderella's castle into a gigantic moving movie screen. Yeah. And that's actually called projection mapping. So the logic of me switching to this technology over time, not going to be anything this year, but it'll take me 5 minutes to put the projector out and then walk away versus me hanging lights for 3.5 months or for however long I usually hang lights. So it doesn't require me on roofs or in trees, and I can give the illusion that my house is a moving object. So I've always been interested in that. Telwyn from Projection Mapping Academy got a hold of me and said, "Hey, are you interested in this? I'll work with you if you are." And I said, "I'm completely ignorant to everything about it." He said, "I got you. I have this academy. It's a tutorial step-by-step." And I took his academy class, learned how to do it, and now we're diving into it. So you mentioned Easter and other holidays. So my goal is to kind of educate myself and keep my knowledge going. Is I'm going to decorate for every single holiday this coming year. So nice. New Year's Day, Easter, 4th of July, Memorial Day. If it's a holiday, I'm going to have something for it. And hopefully by this time next Christmas, I'm proficient about it. And I know I like the show and what I'm enough that I will budget shopping. I'm planning on doing that at least within the next 2 years. But why I don't want to do that is I'm still the only YouTuber who does a year-round show of AC Christmas lights. I'm the only resource. There are David from Learn Christmas Lighting. He does pixels. And there's Jeff from Candace Spader Christmas who just does pixels. There's nobody who does AC lights. So if I completely switch to the genre, I'm going to leave a giant hole for people to have a resource to go to. So I'll probably still do some of both and maybe just integrate the technologies. I don't know yet, but that's a very long answer because you said Easter. So there we go.
Nope. That's great. And so for those of us who are ignorant, what is AC lights?
AC lights are just normal strings of Christmas lights, kind of like your batteries are AC, DC, alternate current, direct current, and AC lights.
Oh, it keeps freezing up.
Now, I was saying earlier that I'm not smart sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm not as smart as I think I am. And I actually spilled Diet Coke, and I drink the heck out of Diet Coke. My dentist hates that I drink Diet Coke.
Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, but I poured it, dumped it accidentally, of course, because no one does it on purpose. Trashed my computer last week, so that's why I'm using earphones because I still haven't figured out the tech. But this is my box that I use for my AC Christmas lights.
Oh wow!
And so basically each channel, each one of these boxes is called a channel. This is a 40 channel box. So I'll put they get kind of plugged in here, but this is what allows me and allows all Christmas light shows. Every single Christmas light show has a box that looks at least similar to this. And this allows me to control the intensity. I could tell a channel. So normally a channel will have anywhere from usually about 1,000 lights on each channel. And I can tell each channel what intensity to be when on, when off. I can ramp up the voltage and have it come on and off. And that's what allows the fading and the shimmering and the sparkling and the optical illusion that are Christmas light shows. And every person who has a Christmas light show uses a box similar to that, whether it be pixels or AC lights. So that's the main hardware you have to have a Christmas light show. Wow,
that sounds really complicated.
You would think. Luckily, Jean, my wife, again, shout out to my wife, who's an engineer, and she's more smart than I am. So she kind of helped me stumble through the tech when I first started more than a decade ago. But yeah, so that was a great starter point for me. I had someone who, if I had an engineering question, she's an electrical engineer, but she does a DSP engineering, which is digital software. So yeah, I married well. I'll just say that I married very well.
That's perfect. So you do you do your own house only, or do you do lots of houses?
Yeah, every year people say, "Hey, how much do you charge to hang Christmas lights?"
Yeah,
I don't do that. I just do my own house, and the reason being is I only have time to do my own house. Right. We have 4 kids, 2 YouTube shows, 2 full-time careers, and like we were talking about it earlier before we went live, I need to retire to have enough time to do my hobbies. I say that all the time. Anybody who's watched me before has probably heard me say that 22 times. It's fun. We enjoy it. Yeah, the kids get a kick out of it to the point that they like to have their friends come over and say, "Hey, look what I did." I'm like, "You did like one prop. You did like Dad did everything else. Come on, let's be honest about it. Let's be honest."
You hauled the stuff out of the garage.
Yeah. No, actually, luckily we have an entire outbuilding that's filled with all of our stuff. So we don't have to club up the garage or anything. We got lucky, and I bought this house originally because I had the cool outbuilding, which is originally a workshop or wood shop for the previous owner, and I liked the basement, so it was kind of neat.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose I was going to say now there aren't a lot of basements there, but I'm thinking more in Texas. Probably where you are, there's quite a few basements.
Pretty much everybody in town has a basement in Kansas. Unless you live in an apartment, I'd say every single person I know has a basement without fail in Wichita. Every parent, every family member, everybody I know. It's just commonplace in Kansas to have a basement just because we're in the heart of Tornado Valley and you need them. So
you got to have a basement. Yeah. Where we live, everybody has basements. And I was really surprised when I went visiting family in Texas, and they don't have basements. And I'm like, well, they thought I was nuts. I'm like, yeah, where we are, every house, well, except for the one I'm in now. Isn't that funny? I didn't think about it until this second.
Okay.
We're finally on a single level home. But it was when we were looking, it was extremely difficult to find one that was single level living because everybody has a basement.
What if it's like New Orleans doesn't have a single basement because below sea level? So I know that the engineering of your topography
makes a big difference.
kind of takes a play.
Yeah.
So what other questions you got for me?
Okay, so how did you get
I can talk Christmas lights all day long. Fair warning.
Good. Well, me too. Except I got to get to work today. that's going to be the only thing.
Wow. Okay.
One of my best friends talked me into working for her at her. She has a craft store, and starting today, I work Saturdays for her.
Oh, all right, very nice. We actually just had two new. So shout out to the yarn tubers. We had two new crocheting, quilting, and yarn stores open up here in town in the last few weeks. It's kind of a big deal. My mother-in-law Connie is a huge quilter, and she's very excited about that.
Yeah, that's nice. This one is a little different because you go there and take classes. It's not like a yarn store or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's real exciting. I think it's the only place like that in town. And they've got a selfie wall, which I'd never heard of. And I guess the kids know all about that.
Yeah, yeah. We actually have one of those ourselves for our show. We call it a photo cutout. I've got a few videos on my website about how to make it. Actually, probably I need to redo that. They're one of my very first episodes.
Cool.
But yeah, it's the Santa Claus, the elves, got the holes cut out for the faces, and kids take pictures of that. So it's pretty popular. We enjoyed that. I try to talk Jean into making one for Halloween and for other holidays. She goes, "You remember how long that took me to make? I'm not making another one." I'm like, okay, fair enough. I appreciate you. She's a artist as well, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. So how long have you been doing this, and what got you going?
I've been doing it for coming on our 13th year. We've always had some sort of a show. We've taken, I think, 3 total years off to do, as far as off of doing an animated light show, where we just did a static display. And static displays are pick your decorations out, plug them in, walk away. So one year we did the Candyland board game, and we had a 15-foot tall cupcake in the front yard. We actually got on the front page of the paper that year just because of the cupcake and the way we had everything designed. So got started simply because I like Christmas, always have had. Christmas is the unique holiday where it's a season versus a day. 4th of July, you got one day. Easter, you got one day. It's an entire season where people are allowed and it's socially accepted to decorate, which is awesome. So the wife's like, hey, if you're going to dive in. And she got me a couple of these boxes that I just showed you. And we started our first show. And then my best friend, or one of my great friends, Bart, he has his whiskey show. And he's like, hey, you got to do YouTube. You got to teach people how to do this stuff. So I dived into YouTube. So I've been doing YouTube for almost 5 years. And Christmas lights for about, we'll call it 13. And then the name of the show is a horrible name. If I had to go back again, that's one thing I would change is the name. Christmas on Crestline is a horrible name for a
why does it keep doing this?
Show. If you're switching, that will more represent, because I don't just do the meat of the show, the heart of the show is Christmas lights and how to do what we do. But it's morphed into I partner with all these all these Chinese companies, because all Christmas lights, fun fact, 99.2% come from China. And then get a hold of me. In fact, I'm doing a thing. Don't know. Yeah, it's not on camera. There's a sound machine that's coming out. Let me grab it right quick.
Yeah.
If I don't fall. So I had a company get a hold of me, Hot Moon, and this is my first experience doing this, where they got a hold of me and said, hey, we want you, Charlie, this guy. And I'm like, what? To do what? Said, so this is a sound machine that's coming out. This is just the prototype. This is the beta version. They said, we don't know how the app's going to work in America. Can you be our guy in America that tests the prototype, tests the app, and give us feedback. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I've never been asked to do that. So that's one cool thing that's come from the show, is I can build all these relationships with all these companies. And my caveat is I'm going to give an honest opinion. If I don't like it, no, there have been companies who have sent me products that were trash. I'm like, no. And I don't even mention those to folks. I'll start filming the review parts of it, kind of the way I film things. But when it gets to the meat of the review, if it's just trash, I email the company, hey, this just isn't for me. I don't want to badmouth this is your hard work. This is your baby. Who am I to trash it on YouTube? So I'm just not going to do a review. So yeah, I've had a few like that, but most companies are pretty cool. They're like, yeah, give us an honest review. We appreciate the constructive criticism. But because I'm morphing more into LEDs and products, like I have this product on the house now. It's permanent pixel lights that I have on my house, and it does color washing. And color washing is awesome. If you're not into color washing, you need to get into color washing. It kind of gives the optical illusion that not only that your house is moving, but your house is a completely different color. And it projects lights on your home to give the illusion that your house is a different color, and you can control it. And I use this thing all the time. So I do so many reviews with other companies, and companies I'm kind of getting that reputation amongst the manufacturing circles, that when companies reach out to me and say, hey, Charlie, can you review this? I say, yeah, but I want to, if I broadcast it, if I offer it out, would you be kind enough to give a discount code to my viewers? And 99% always do, which is cool. I talk a lot. Sorry about that.
Nope,
that was a long answer.
You're the guest. We're here to listen to you, learn from you. So if I've got this brand new house, new to me, not brand new. I have this new house, and I have no decorating plans. How should I start? What's a simple way to get started and get going? Oh, I've made him happy.
That is a phenomenal question. If I have a blanketed house and I'm doing everything over again, well, first of all, I'm gonna tell you this: if you're going to do that, go pixels. Don't do AC lights. If you want an animated Christmas light show, and here's why: pixel lights. I have this year. I'll probably have about 120,000 lights on my house. For pixel lights.
Wait. Time out. 120,000 lights.
Ish. Yeah. I stopped counting many years ago. I know what each prop kind of takes. Like I got 10,000 on my roof line, and each of my verticals, which a vertical is just real easy, is you take a 2x4, you wrap lights around it, you attach it to your house. I've changed how I do that a few times to kind of make it proficient, because there is some method to the madness. But each one of those will have about 1,000. This year they won't, because I changed how I designed them. But I do peacock verticals, which are kind of give the illusion like a peacock, kind of like a wave machine or so. Yeah, there'll be several lights. The trees take a ton, the props take a ton. So the number changes every year. I just stop counting.
Yeah, I would expect so.
But for let's call it 100,000 lights. For pixel lights, you only need about 10,000 to create the optical illusion that you have 100,000 on your house. And it is more of a legitimate light show. You can control kind of like a pixel, kind of like your television. You can make your house into a giant television screen. But like I hang lights from September to November. Pixel lights, you can get them all up in a weekend. So if I had it to do over again, I'm doing pixels. They don't burn out quite as quickly. AC lights, if you go to Walmart, Holiday Time is their brand. And it's actually the number one brand in the world, because Holiday Time is sold at Walmart's, and Walmart's everywhere. They are designed to last 1 to 3 years. They only have a 2,000 hour lifespan. And Walmart, as big as they are, they do not own their own color palette. And like if you go to Walmart today and you buy blue LED lights, string of 100 count, and you go 4 years from now, it'll be a different shade of blue, and it will optically look different. Your commercial grade companies, like I do a lot of work with Creative Displays in Kansas City area, they own their own color palette. So their specific hue of blue cannot be sold to any other creator, and they have a lifetime ownership of that hue made specifically for them in the Christmas light. So if you buy a light from 10 years ago, it'll be the exact same color of blue today.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll do pixels. I can get it done in a weekend. I don't need as many lights. And you can I have one set of pixel lights on my house that are permanently installed, and I love the heck out of them. I use them every day. my son plays high school football. His school colors are blue and yellow. So every Friday when he comes home from the game, the house is blue and yellow. I have floodlights everywhere. I have pixel lights on the roof line. We do a ton of lighting. So we have floodlights. We have kind of a smart house. I can tell Alexa what room to turn on, and they'll turn them on. I actually have a company that's going to we're building a new set here. And I have a company that's going to send me new recessed lights that I'll be able to control with Alexa as well. So kind of neat. I love lighting. There's a lot of neat stuff out there, folks.
Well, and then with that, then you wouldn't. Okay. So in my mind, I see you putting all this stuff up and then taking all this stuff down at the end of the season. Yeah. But with that kind of a thing, you wouldn't have to take as much down because you can change it out throughout the year for whatever's going on, right?
Yep, exactly. So most folks will leave, most folks in the pixel industry have some sort of permanently installed something on the roof line or on the borders of their home. For the stuff that's in your yard, you want that to come out because it's going to turn summer and you have to mow.
Right.
I don't leave lights in trees because leaves come and squirrel. Every year I lose lights to squirrels. Squirrels are the nemesis of all Christmas light animators. And I use the heck out of my LED keeper, which is a tool that can help repair Christmas lights. I have that on my tool belt constantly. If you're in the Christmas light, whatever, you need to have an LED keeper. Don't go out and buy Christmas lights when you can repair them.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea that you could repair them. Oh, we got a super chat.
Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
Dana with the Wanderlust crochet.
So Dana, you're going into the drawing. So every month we have a drawing for anybody who makes a donation. We have a drawing, and I'm probably going to be doing my first one today for October's people. And thank you so very much. And as you know, all super chats go to prizes and postage. We do tons of prizes every Monday night in bingo. We have bingo every Monday night, and it's free to play, and we have prizes every Monday night. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love lives and giveaways. They're fun. I did not do the last one with Dana. Dana, I apologize. I'm just too busy. But we both were in Dana's giveaway in August, I believe it was.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Dana, you are phenomenal at organizing those. So thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. And Dana wins every bingo game every week. She thinks she does, but she doesn't. Have you picked your numbers yet, Dana? Do you use a generator? We've got a question. Do you use a generator?
No, I do not. We do a Patreon page, and one of my patrons, Darren, if he's watching, probably not, but might be because I let my Patrons know about it. He is our engineer extraordinaire who provides us power. He's kind enough to come over each and every year for 13 years now. And luckily, another reason I love this house when I bought it, my outbuilding has the exact same amount of power that my house does. So every year we transfer the power from my outbuilding so it goes dark and it powers my light show. So my light show has the exact same amount. I think it's 100 amps, I think. I think that's what my house has, but 100 amps powers the show. I got very lucky in that. We have gotten to the point last year where Darren says you need to hire, because he's an electrician, you need to hire an electric company to come out and expand your box because we need more room for our electricity. And I did not do that because that's like 10 grand. I did not know it was that much money. Like, we'll figure something else out. That's a small car.
Yeah,
we're not going to do that. But do not use a generator. We just happen to have enough power we can reroute. And one other question I get a lot is, how much is your electricity bill? Well, we use LED lights, which are energy efficient. And our lights, because it's an animated show, they're only on for a fraction of a second. I can control these lights down to the 10th of a second. I use X lights. No, not X lights. I use Prism as the software that I use. And it's actually proprietary to the boxes that I use. But the most famous software in the world to control Christmas lights, and it's a free software and it is user-based, is X lights. X lights you can control down to the 30th of a second. My software allows me to control down to the 10th of a second. So these lights are only flashing on and on very, very quickly. and very rarely do I have them at 100%. For pixel lights, because of neighbors, because they're so bright, you normally will only see a pixel light show at 20%. My show, I'll run down from about 20 down to 100 for ramping, to give the illusion it's crescendoing, if you will. But for pixel lights, you only will ever have them on for 20%, 30% if you're in rural areas. But yeah, there's actually math that goes into Christmas lights. My box here that I showed you a minute ago has 3 fuses. One's 0.09 amps. I got 2 that are 0.09 and one that's 1.8 amps. So an average string of green LED lights from Walmart, 100 count, is going to be 0.06 amps. So if I put 10 strings on there, there's 0.6 amps. My fuse controls 0.9, so I have enough energy there. So you have to actually calculate the amperage of the individual boxes or individual lights that you're using, which is why I always save a few of the boxes. So when the sticker or whatever rubs off of the lights, I can go back to the box. Okay, what's the amperage on these strings? I need to do the math. So that's something most folks don't know about Christmas light shows, is it's a ton of math.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. And then you make your own cutout type designs too. I was watching I watched your video on making your own candy cane.
Oh yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I have 2 styles. See, I do a tape version because if you need something real quick and you don't have spray paint, some folks just, maybe you're in an apartment and you have nowhere to spray paint, you can always do tape. And you can get it in 10 minutes, really. I prefer the painted version. The only problem with the painted version is it chips and flakes over time, but those are all in our Santa's workshop, which are back this year 25 feet into the yard. So you can't see a few paint chips. But the giant candy cane, I think the one we made, I think is 6'2", 6'6". I forget the exact dimensions. But yeah, I make a PVC pipe candy cane. In that video, I went to Home Depot. I show the photos of a Home Depot so everybody knows exactly what parts to get. And you buy red tape, and then you just tape it. There's kind of a little bit of a method to the madness of how to tape it, especially when you get into the curvature of the cane. But yeah, it's fun. It's cheap, I think. Well, it used to be cheap. 5 years ago, that thing would have cost me $30. This year, I think it cost me $50, if memory serves. But the painted ones I've had for 13 years. So you buy it once, they've more than paid for themselves.
Yeah, and then maybe a little touch-up paint now and again. Yeah, that would look cool. Easy. I was just thinking that would look really cool along the posts of the fence line on the side of the yard. I like that idea.
So what other those things are eye-catching?
Yeah. What other quickies? And then wrap it in some lights.
Yeah, real easy. Yeah,
that'd be pretty.
Absolutely.
That'd be pretty. What other quick, easy things can I do as a beginner with no knowledge of all this stuff?
So 3 years ago, I made this quick video. I'm like, this is stupid, but sometimes things that I think are stupid, other people like because I'm so enamored with Christmas lights year round. So it's really easy. I have this video about how to make Christmas light balls. You basically just wrap them around your hand. There's a technique to it to making a ball, but I think that 20,000, 30,000, I forget how many thousands of views it has. It's in the tens of thousands, but it's so simple. And we have those hanging everywhere in one of our trees. We've redesigned our landscaping to for the benefit of our show. So we've taken out some big fire bushes, which I like the fire bushes. I like the Christmas light show a little bit more. But yeah, so we had all these extra channels because we didn't have the bushes. I'm like, well, let's hang these lights up. And it's super simple. You can build them easily. One thing I love about the Christmas lights hobbyists is that I say, hey, send me a photograph, send me a video of what you have in your show. And then I put it into future videos. And then at the end of the year, I have what's called the Fan Appreciation Award. So I take every video, every photograph that fans send me, and then I put that into a very long video. And then my Patreon viewers vote on who they want to win. And that person wins some merchandise, and they win a very cool trophy and stuff. And so the guy that won it last year, one of the best names I've ever heard. His name is Gaetano Amato because he's an Italian fella. I'm like, that's an awesome name. And his nickname is Tomato. So I'm like, that's also clever. Good job, dude. But a lot of the pictures I get are of these hand wrapped, very easy to make Christmas light balls. We make giant ones too out of chicken wire. That actually, fun fact, I actually thought it was a scam. But this company called Voice of America, which is a news organization, I'm like, I've never heard of you. I'm 47 and I'm American. You don't
Mm-hmm.
actually exist. Turns out it's a real news company that run by the government, which I didn't even know we had, and it's broadcast to every country but America. And one of their Russian correspondents got a hold of me, said, "Hey, your Christmas light balls, we'd like to do a news story about you." And they did it in Russian and they did it in Spanish. So they released it to some Spanish-speaking countries and in Russia. I'm like, that is so cool.
Wow.
But that was our giant Christmas light ball, how you make it out of chicken wire.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was neat. So very interesting. Plus, they sent me the links to it, so I got to hear what myself sounded like in Russian because they had an actor dub my voice, which is cool. I'm like, look at me speaking Russian. That's awesome.
So you do a different theme every year, or Chris?
No, we do different songs every year.
Okay.
This year, the biggest movie I think is probably going to be this holiday season is there's two that I'm very excited about. One I'm very excited about. Haunted Mansions. They're redoing that. That's coming out this year, and then believe it or not, they're coming out with a brand new with the original actor Peter Billingsley Christmas Story.
Yes.
This holiday season, it's him. He's moving back into the old man's house, and it's in the 70s this time. So every year, that's kind of how I got to know Dana, is I do a Christmas in July extravaganza, and I bring on industry insiders. And this year we interviewed great Christmas light fight producers from ABC's television show. It's in its 12th season, I think. And we brought on X-Lights. We brought on Lightorama. We bring on a lot of industry insiders. And the one I couldn't get was Peter Billingsley. He was my white whale this holiday season or this July. I reached out to his agent and said, "Hey, I do a small show. Can I have him on the show?" And all I did was I heard crickets. So no response, and that's fine. That's fine. Since over the years he does a lot of work with Adam Sandler. He actually directs and produces a lot of the Adam Sandler movies. But I'm very excited he's coming out with a new one. But that comes back to the answer. We don't do a different theme. We do different songs. Last year, we actually thought we were going to switch to Pixels this year. So last year, we released every song we've ever done. There's about 30 songs. Each song, for a minute of a song, usually takes about 10 hours to program. Wow. So like Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas is a little over 3 minutes. That took almost 24 hours, a little over 24 hours actually to program of just sitting down in front of the computer, knocking it out. Because you have to tell every string of lights that you have when to come on and off every 10th of a second. So it takes a long time. That's the worst part of it. I'll say the worst. That's the most time consuming is the programming, which is more than hanging the lights.
Yeah, I'm sure. I am sure. That sounds overwhelming to me.
Well, it's fun. Like anything else, if you enjoy it, then it's fun. When it starts to become work, then I don't like it. And usually it starts to become work usually the week before Thanksgiving because I realize all the stuff I have to do. And my wife and I, when our kids were very small, we love Black Friday shopping. We leave the house one day. We meet my sister Megan and my brother-in-law Ryan at a local hole in the wall. We have a quick beer or whatever. We have some food and we go our separate ways and we go shopping. And one year, my wife and I went out for 52 hours straight shopping, which was fun to us. Now our kids are older, and we don't need that much shopping. They're like, just give me cash or a computer or a gift card. But every year when we were small, we're doing that much shopping. I have to come home when we eventually stop shopping, and I have to rush around. And I remember literally rushing one Thanksgiving morning, running around my yard nonstop, trying to plug everything in. It's not that much work anymore because all of our kids are grown. We still have 2 in the house, but that's the chore of it is usually Thanksgiving week and making sure everything works. And there's inevitably something goes wrong every year for every Christmas light hobbyist. Something goes wrong. Water is the enemy of Christmas light shows. Ours are pretty much waterproof to the point it's okay. Pixel light animators have a more problem with water than string light animators do. But water's the nemesis, but that's when it becomes work is usually Thanksgiving week.
Now, do y'all get snow there?
Not as much as when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I have so many memories of playing in the snow. One thing we were talking about dogs earlier before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite thing to do when the kids were small was not necessarily snow, but ice. When the streets would just ice up, get a lot of ice storms, we'd strap the harness on the dog or the strap on the dog, connect him to the sleigh, and he just pulled the kids around in the sleigh on the streets. And it was awesome. And it was safe because one, dad was there, and two, it was too slick for any cars to be on the street. So you had the whole road to yourself, just having fun. But last year we don't get as much snow as I would like. I don't know. We'll get one, maybe 2 good sledding days of snow in Wichita. But now as a kid, that's all we had. We had snow all the time as a kid. So something's changed over the last 10, 15 years. We don't get as much as we used to. Shifted a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. We had our first snow yesterday, and it was pretty significant. We had about 2 or 3 inches anyway. And then of course it turned to rain, and then we had torrential windstorms last night. We had 50, 60 mile an hour winds, took my fence out, my brand new fence that I just got finished in August. So
just put it up in August and it's already down, huh?
Yeah. So, but that's the joy of living here. Usually every fall and every spring we get big windstorms. And in fact, we took a couple of trees out because we were worried about the windstorms. And I was very glad that we did, because they were dead, and the wind will take them out. We'll have tons of uprooted trees every time we have a big windstorm around here.
Yeah, we had one 3 weeks ago that we were getting the 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. And my nephew had a tree in his neighbor's yard fall in the parcel of his house, but his yard. And standing up, he's, I don't know, 6 foot, standing up the trunk of the tree, because it brought the roots and everything, the ball, all of it.
Root system,
and the trunk of the tree, as it's vertical or horizontal, was taller than he was standing next to it.
Yeah.
So, and apparently I did not know that if your neighbor's tree falls in your house, it's up to your insurance. I did not know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it would be the neighbor.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And his mom, my sister, is an insurance agent. She goes, nope, it's act of God at that point, and insurance don't cover. They don't cover act of gods on other people's property. They'll cover your own under some certain circumstances.
Yeah, the insurance will cover this my fence damage. And if we get big, if we get big enough, if it affects the whole area, the insurance companies will not make it a hit against you.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's nice. I always watch for that. Yeah, because every year I'm fixing either a roof or a fence from the wind damage.
Okay. Well, yeah, you live, how close to the ocean are you?
Oh, we're far away. We're almost to Idaho.
Oh, are you? Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're over on the other side. No oceans here. I wish.
Fair enough.
We have trees.
Washington is one state I've never been to before. In fact, I've never been. The furthest west I've been is probably New Mexico, but I've not been to the northeast part or northwest part of America. Ever.
Oh, it's nice.
I bet it is.
It's beautiful up here. If you like, we truly have all the seasons. We have, Dana, we have beautiful summers. We'll hit the 100 degrees in the summers. We'll have, we get the snowy winter. We get the gorgeous leaves in the fall, and then, sopping wet springtime. People go, oh, I love spring. Really? Because, it's wet for 2 months.
Dana's making fun of me because at one point in time I said Idaho doesn't exist because I've never met anybody from Idaho. Like, I don't think it actually exists. It's on a map. But is it really there? I don't know. Good memory, Dana. Good memory.
Yeah, you get nothing by her for sure. Yeah, I can prove, I can vouch that it exists because we do go over there, and there's a beautiful, beautiful lake near us. It's Coeur d'Alene Lake, and we do pop over there and go wander around the lake now and again.
Oh, very nice.
We used to go over there at 4th of July, and they would always have a fantastic Christmas show at 4th of July. Fireworks show at 4th of July. Yeah. And so we would drive over there and watch that. But, you get older and the crowds don't seem like that much fun anymore. And so.
Yeah, good call. When I have so many memories of family reunions that were just huge and going to the lakes and everybody was there, and society's gotten away from that a little bit, at least in my circle of people have gotten away from that. So, yeah. Now, my immediate family, we get together all the time. Now, my sister's mom, dad, brothers-in-laws, sisters-in-laws. We get together every 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving. We still do birthdays all the time. We're in Kansas, so we're big Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Oh, yeah.
We do a big tailgating thing for 15 years. Not so much last COVID kind of put a damper in that, but and then we've had some illness in the family. But yeah, we used to get where we 30, 40 people every football game every Sunday in the driveway with the grills and the TVs. So we still do all that. So that's the memories that our kids will take into their adulthood.
That's cool. So now with this fancy light system, you can do lights for the different games and things too, right?
I can. So one of our so the Chiefs won the Super Bowl a few years back, and I just kind of threw together a Chiefs song, and that actually had a company got hired. A gentleman named Tom George. He is the Super Bowl champion, if you will. If there was a Super Bowl of Christmas light shows, he'd be the guy. He actually did an amazing thing. Tom George, I actually think that's the name of his YouTube channel, but he is an industry leader. He always does something new and different. He's the leading edge of technology when it comes to Christmas light animation. But he has a drone show where he had, I think, 300 drones all flying in unison and all decked out with pixel lights to create this illusion in the sky that dwarfs his house. And he did a Halloween show for a Stranger Things animation. So he had the monster, he had the actors in there. It was an amazing sight to see.
Wow.
So yeah, he actually got hired by Ford Motor Company to do a show in the Kansas City area, and he could not find a Chiefs chant that he liked. So he actually got a hold of me about the song that we used. He said, "Hey, can I buy this from you?" I'm like, "No, just use it. It's okay." So yeah, but talking about different things for light shows, and I did the Chiefs song, and then they won the Super Bowl. So I kind of redid it a little bit, and I think that's got like 30,000 views on that. I would have so much traffic just to see this one song. And in the YouTube video of it, I have a holographic Patrick Mahomes. And this family came by to see the show, and the little girl was so upset. Goes, "Hey, how come Patrick Mahomes isn't in the yard?" I'm like, "Well, that's on the YouTube side. That's not so. That's YouTube magic. That's not really. We don't have we do projection mapping for years in our Santa Claus house, where that's not really mapping. We just project an image of Santa Claus being inside of the Santa Claus house. Just kind of a bit of a holographic image. But yeah, she was upset because we didn't have Patrick Mahomes in the front yard. I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, you know." But yes, we do stuff for my wife has 2 degrees, one's from Kansas State University. So we're purple for the purple Wildcats all the time. And we talked earlier about my son's team. So we're blue and gold for his team. So that's one cool thing about having permanently installed Christmas lights is you can instantly decorate for just by talking to Alexa. Really, I just tell Alexa what to do, and they do it. It's awesome.
That's fabulous. I can't even figure out how to tell Alexa how to turn on and off my TV, so I'm impressed.
Fair enough. We actually stopped using the remote to change the channel because we just tell Alexa, open up YouTube TV or open up Netflix or whatever.
Wow.
Or say, "Hey, play Stranger Things on Netflix," and it instantly does it. It's kind of neat.
Wow. Yeah, I got to figure that out. That would be cool. I am so bad at all that stuff.
For all that, I've gotten more proficient, and thanks to the Christmas on Crestline channel, because that kind of forces me to stay on top of tech. Before that, I was just talking to my wife. "Hey, wife, how do I fix this? How do I fix this?" And she says all the time, "I am not IT." Okay, fair enough.
That's funny. That is funny. So do you get a lot of traffic? You mentioned people walking by or driving by. Do you get a lot of traffic because of that?
Yes. Last year 2 years ago, we had a news agency here that did a story. They have the morning shows, and he came by and filmed. And that coupled with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl that year, we had, it was a little bit embarrassing because we had traffic 5 blocks steady. And I'm like, this is too much. We're not good enough of a show. In all honesty, we're not good enough of a show for people to wait an hour to see our show. So last year we switched it up. That year we did, I think a 45-minute show. So it's 45 minutes of different songs, and then it would loop.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we switched it up. We're going to have 2 15-minute shows. So as soon as 15 minutes come and go, people are like, oh, I've already seen the song, and they'll move on. And that really helped move traffic along.
Yeah.
This year, I'm not sure what we're going to do this year. That's one good thing about adding new songs. You never know what we're going to take out. I will tell you that my wife never wants to ever hear again Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, because that's been in our show consistently for the 10 years. That may come out this year. So.
Okay. So how do your neighbors feel about all the traffic?
We've only had one neighbor ever come over and complain, and that's because he had a newborn, and that was the night before we went live. We were just out there cranking the music. And he goes, hey, you're coming through my baby's monitor. Can you turn it down? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we've only ever had one neighbor. My neighbor to the south of me was very clever last year. She got herself a Grinch, put it in the yard, and then strung a single string of Christmas lights over my fence and acted like he was pulling the Christmas lights down off of our house. Like, that's clever. That's clever.
That's awesome.
We have another house 1 block away that has an 15-foot tall reindeer in his yard, and a 18-foot sled behind that pulling with the reindeer pulling it. So it's very cool. For folks who want huge props, I suggest you go to the Winfield Collection. And I think it's winfieldcollection.com, but they are masters of woodworking, and they just send you the plans. If you are an arts and crafts person who goes to a lot of arts and crafts stores, you buy a plan and they allow you to make and sell. I think it's up to 100 different versions of that before they ask you to buy the copyright for it. So they're a good company to have. I know a lot of folks do arts and crafts shows and buy just their programs or their plans because you don't have to pay for them. You can sell them, and they allow that. So it's kind of neat. But that's what he did. He went to Winfield Collection and got the plans for these giant reindeer and giant sleigh. And I think they're having a giant snowman this year too. But they change things up every year.
That's really cool. It's amazing the different places that you can turn for this kind of stuff out in the world.
There's a lot, yes.
Don't even know exists until you start looking around. And it's great that there's opportunities to use those things without having to buy everything.
Yeah. There's you can do a lot of stuff real cheaply. Like these, as you kind of see the snowflakes behind me. Those are the same material that are made out of like political signs. They don't rust, they don't chip, they don't dent. They're easy. You can get full sheets of it even on Amazon and design your stuff. One gal who talks to us a lot on my show, she's actually one of my Patreon supporters, but Stacy from MS Lights, they won the national award last year for X Lights. They do the same called Lights Around the World, where they program a song and then they give it to you for free. Normally, to buy a song, we talked about earlier about how long it takes to program a song. There are a few people like Ron Howard, not that Ron Howard, a different Ron Howard from Extreme Sequences. He does for a living. He does nothing but program Christmas light shows. And for him to create a show and you to buy it, $100, $200, sometimes $500. I lost my train of thought while I was going with that. I get excited about Christmas lights. Anyway, but to be a light programmer, there are people who do that for a living, but it's very, very expensive. And then you can do it for actually lost my whole train of thought. I had a great point. I think I went and got old real quickly. I'm at that age. I get excited, get down a train, and I completely forget what I was talking about.
Well, so let me ask you then. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
So when you were saying that he'll program a song for you, you can purchase it from him, and it's just a few $100s. Is that right? That doesn't seem like enough.
He does something kind of unique. So you can purchase an individual song from him for $100 to $500, or you could purchase kind of like a fast pass at Disneyland. You say, hey, I want 18. He calls them Ron Bucks. 18 Ron Bucks. Here's $500, and he gives you a huge discount. So one song might be 3 Ron Bucks. Another one might be 1. So you can actually, for $500, you can walk away with about 4 or 5 songs versus just one song for $500. And I've always said, if I ever switch to just Pixel Light shows, or if I'm starting from scratch and I'm doing Pixel Lights, I'm immediately going to him. Yeah. Here's $500. Give me 4 or 5 songs, because the average song is 3 minutes.
Yeah.
5 songs. There's 15 minutes. That's your whole show.
Yeah.
And you have saved yourself 100 hours, 200
hundreds
hours,
of
300 hours of
Yeah.
programming.
No kidding. So then, okay, the other thing is, like on YouTube, we have to be super, super careful about copyright stuff and not having any music playing in the background. I don't know if y'all know this, but if you're walking through a store and you're videoing and they've got music, it's boom, you're done. You'll get blocked.
Oh yeah.
It's so scary. You got to be so careful of that. I'm always listening for background music, background noise. And so how does that work with your Is it just kind of a wink and a nod? Nobody pays attention, or?
Oh no, they pay attention. YouTube's all like, "What are you thinking?" Immediately. So here's the caveat. So you got if you, I think, okay. So I program, say, what's a silly one I do? Ice Ice Baby. I do a silly one like that, right? That's immediately copywritten, and like, hey, YouTube says, hey, Vanilla Ice wants the rights to this. You can't make any money off this episode. You cannot be monetized. Or even if you don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, and you play a song, that will instantly have commercials on it, but it'll go to that artist.
Right.
I think with the Fair Use Act, I think if I click that button, because it says, hey, do you want to dispute this? I think if I clicked that button, I disputed it, I think I would win. I just don't know any other Christmas animator that's been that bold, because if you roll the dice and you say, hey, I want to dispute this, and you're wrong, that is a permanent strike against your account. You get 3 and you're done. I have one warning that will always be in my account, because I did an episode and it blew up. I got like 100,000 views in no time. And it's how to get a song from MP3 onto YouTube. Very simple. Because in order to have a Christmas light show, we have to take take songs from YouTube. That's exactly how we all get our songs. We take it from YouTube and we put them into our show. Right. Well, YouTube didn't like that. And they're like, hey, and they took that video down. They erased everything from that. I'm like, that's fine. I still have it up on my Patreon page. And that's fine. But or Patreon and Facebook, I think. But just not on YouTube. So, but to answer your question, any song I do, and I film it and I put it on YouTube, that artist immediately gets it. I've never fought that. So those will never be monetized for me, just for the artist. And that's fine. They get
the 3 cents, and
they get the 3 cents. They did the hard work. They had to write it, record it, release it. They did all the hard work, so let them have the money. I'm okay with it.
Yep. Okay. I was wondering about that. And so when you go to a gentleman like that and he prepares the light show and the all of that, there's not a problem with him using that song and selling you something?
Correct.
Because he's selling you the music, he's selling you the lights, not the music. Yes,
he's selling you the creation. Now, when he sends you the software, the song is also in there. But he is a Picasso, not exaggerating. He's an Einstein of Christmas lighting animation. And there's lots of many others out there. Scott Hansen, who's one of the main engineers there's about 5 main engineers for X Lights. He's also a Picasso. He's also an Einstein. But Ron is really the only he's the only one I would ever recommend. There's many others out there that, hey, here's the light show. Here you go. Give me $100, and they're crap. Ron is the only one I would ever recommend, because he is just an expert at it. And that's just for pixels. There's not one that exists for AC lights, what I do. And and the software that I use is only used by me and a very few other people. The company that builds these boxes and built the software, not really defunct, just they don't do it anymore. But I have the owner's number, and I call the owner and say, hey, Richard, I need 2 more boxes. So he'll build them for me and send them to me still. And I just talked to him the other week, and because the website actually got hacked, and he just never fixed it. So his company just kind of went by the wayside. But he said, hey, if any of your viewers want the boxes, get a hold of me in January, February, March, and I'll make it for them next year. I'm like, that's awesome. Cool. The reason why we use this box versus a Lightorama, well, first of all, when Lightorama first came out, it was kind of like beta versus VHS. Who's going to win? And I chose beta when I should have chose VHS. So Lightorama is huge now. It's the industry leader. But we did the price per box. So for this box right here, this is $500, and it gives you 40 channels. Lightorama's is about $400 for 16 channels. So we're like, hey, if we're going to spend all the money, what's the best price per channel? And it was, and it still is. He has not raised his price in 10 years.
Wow.
Still is him. But X Lights, it goes with the Ladorama. Ladorama goes with X Lights. It's the best software and it's the best hardware on the market today. I should have gone VHS.
Yeah, well, it's as with a lot of things, it's a guessing game.
It is.
Guessing game.
Especially with tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the wife runs things. Are the kids involved, or they're just kind of like, let me know when it's done?
They'll request a song every once in a while. They'll help if I ask them to. But this is what I enjoy doing, and I never want to force anything on my kids. Like my son Jack, he played soccer since he's a wee kid, and he's getting ready to go into high school. And he's, Dad, I don't want to play soccer anymore. That sucks, because I was his coach for many years, and I recently quit coaching. When he stopped playing soccer, I stopped coaching. It's a way for me to spend time for my son, but I didn't want to force it on him. He goes, Dad, I want to play football. You don't know how to play football. You never played football, but he's on a football team. Good. That's his passion. I don't want to force Christmas lights on the kids because I don't want them to grow up with like, I hate Christmas lights. Dad always forced me to do it. So I don't force it on them. If they want to come out and help, or if I legit need help, hey, can you come help me? I need to move the Santa Claus platform. Yeah, I'll be right out, Dad. So they're nice enough that anytime I ask them, it's an instant yes, I'll be glad to help. But I don't force it on them. They'll suggest a show, or when the lights show's all up, they're very good about, this is my light show. Like I kind of joked about earlier, they do that constantly. But yeah, they're great help when I ask them for it, but I don't force them to help. And they're like, yeah, it's Dad being stupid. So I'm kind of silly. So like this, I wore this to the game last night. It was ugly sweater night. I'm like, I have so many of these. Easy.
I got a sweater.
Easy.
Yeah. That's perfect. I love it. I love it. That's cute. Oh, that is wonderful. So you're right in the middle of the heart of it for right now. Yeah. And you'll be setting it up. So when do you go live? On Thanksgiving Day or the day after?
We'll actually go live normally on Thanksgiving night. We advertise, we go live usually the weekend after Thanksgiving. So it's a soft open. Everybody knows we'll go live Thanksgiving night. But if there's, like I said, something always goes wrong, and we don't know what will go wrong until everything's plugged in.
Right.
So we'll plug everything in. We have our walkie-talkie. Well, anymore we just use our cell phones. But at one point in time, we had walkie-talkies. Sure. Gene will be inside. Okay, I'm doing channel 1 on, off. And we test every single channel and the lights. And the trick to Gene is actually a better programmer than I is. I like her shows better than I like mine. I do a lot of faded. I like ballads. I just do. Like Pentatonics has great ballads. But to fade them on and fade them off is if you have too many lights. We talked earlier about amperage and fuses. If you overload that fuse, it won't fade very well. Or if there's water in the lines, it won't fade very well. Anytime, a lot of shows, if it's raining, nope, we're off. They won't even turn on. We have the ability to still come on, just the fades won't be perfect. And you spend all this time building. You want everything to be perfect, just like anything. Sure. If you're building, crafts, you want them to be perfect, we'll test everything. Usually Thanksgiving, if we're lucky, the night before Thanksgiving, but we'll go live Thanksgiving, have a soft open, and then we'll really advertise. We had the Wichita Area Chamber of Commerce get a hold of me yesterday, wanting to know our hours. We had ICT, Wichita ICT. I don't know, some big Instagram page got a hold of me last week, wanting to know our hours. So it's about the time of the year that the news agencies will get a hold of me. We're usually in the top 5 of the Christmas light shows in the area every year. And in fact, in 2018, we actually won the Kansas Christmas light fight, which was fun. So that was actually one of my funnest times this year, is interviewing the Great Christmas Light Fight TV show in our Christmas in July extravaganza. That was a fun time. And after we got done the interview, she's like, yeah, that was great. If you want me on next year, you want some of the actors on next year, get a hold of us and we'll be more than happy to come on. I'm like, thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate that. She's a real nice gal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now I'm from memory. I can recall driving down the street and seeing a huge display, and it was like, turn to radio station such and such. And is that a thing?
Yep, we have that too. Our radio station is 100.7, and there are certain federal rules about it because you can only broadcast to be a hobbyist 100 feet. So for years we used what's called whole house transmitter. That's the whole house is the brand name, and it was okay. We had to put a flagpole in the backyard, run some speaker wire up to it to try to amplify it out. And then we switched last year because we plugged everything in. Something went wrong. Transmitter didn't work. Like, what? No. This sucks. So I bought a transmitter, and we're talking Tuesday or Wednesday before Thanksgiving. My wife bought one. I bought one. Like, okay, whichever gets here first wins. Hers got, and the name of the brand name escapes me, but we used it, plugged it in, and it was like, oh, you could hear us 5 blocks down the road, 4 blocks down the road, 6 blocks down the road. I'm like, this is amazing. So not the trash whole house transmitter, but it couldn't hold a candle to a new one last year. And one of the videos I'm going to come out with, I actually have most of the equipment out here today. I'll probably just go ahead and film it this weekend, is what equipment do you need to do a Christmas light show? And an FM transmitter is a must-have piece. You have to have that. Otherwise, or if you just want to put, well, you have to have it. You don't have a choice, because even if you want to put a radio in your yard and speakers in your yard for people to hear the show, you still have to transmit that somewhere. They run about $50 to $100, but that's a must-have. To have a Christmas light show, you have to have it.
Nice. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until just a second ago. Wow, there's a lot involved. I might get some twinkle lights on the fence line, assuming that I have a fence line by then.
Good call. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, and that could be it. We've gotten so bad, even putting up and taking down the Christmas tree. The older you get, the less fun that stuff is.
Oh,
and and then we lived full time. We were full-time RVers for the last 4 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had a picture of a Christmas tree up in my window. And I'm sorry.
I was going to say for fence lines, a trick for fence lines is to not use nails or screws or staples, but actually use large binder clips. And you put the large binder clip on there, and it clips on the top of the fence line, and you can keep a straight line of Christmas lights without ever having to put nails or anything in your fence. Nice.
Yeah, because we've got the vinyl fence, so there's no putting nails in that.
Yeah, it works out. Yeah.
That is a great idea.
My house prior to this had an all vinyl fence, which is how I got the idea. Yeah.
That's a great idea. What other little things would you recommend to newbies?
This is key. So most folks, I have a few commercial grade Christmas lights. And commercial grade Christmas lights, the biggest difference is Walmart's brand will last you 1 to 3 years. Commercial grade will last you 10 plus. I have actually, now I think about it, I have a fair amount of commercial grade Christmas lights. I've had one go out on me, and it's 13, 14 years old. It's just time, but the difference is actually the wire in the commercial grade is actually thinner, so it actually can speed through more quickly. But here's the key: if you're buying Walmart lights, cool, they're great to use. They're actually they're like $8 a box this year, which is double or not quite double. It's $2 more than what it was last year. But here's the key: like we talked earlier, they don't own their Christmas light color hue. So if you need 10 boxes, buy 12. If you need 12 boxes, buy 15. Because when one light goes out and it's just not repairable, and I repair all my lights. I've repaired probably 30 strings this year. Those lights won't match, and you have to match in order for some props to look nice. So always buy more lights than what you think you need. Always, because I always call myself past Charlie, future Charlie. I'm like, I'm not putting this up right now. That's future Charlie's problem. He can deal with this. But the problem is future Charlie, the lights won't match. I'm like, it sucks. And also, don't throw away broken Christmas lights. If you have a string of 100 count Christmas lights and you have multiple failures, you plug them in, they won't work. You might think the whole thing is bad. It's not. Trust me. Save those broken strings, and those become spare bulbs for you. And fun fact, they actually sell spare bulbs at Walmart for $2 for one bulb. Or you can buy a box of 100 count for $8 and have 100 spares. So one of the biggest not rackets, not cheats, but I guess it's wise to buy spare bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
But the package, $2 a piece, is not worth it. So
No,
yeah.
no,
Those are
not
my
at all.
two advices: buy extras and don't throw away broken lights.
That's cool.
Another thing, the biggest mistake I've ever made was our first year when my wife gung ho was like, "I'm gonna support your hobby. Here, let's get you some boxes." Well, boxes need extension cords, and we spent $1,000 just on 100-foot neon green extension cords. Biggest mistake I've made. So when those string lights go bad on you, and there's just no fix them. Guess what? Just because the bulb doesn't work, it doesn't illuminate, doesn't mean it's not carrying power. We turn those into homemade extension cords. They're already outdoor rated, so you don't have to worry about weatherproofing them. They're already outdoor rated. So we take those and we have probably 500. We've taken all of our old incandescents because 6 years ago we moved to all LEDs. Mm-hmm. So every single string of incandescent lights is now an extension cord for us. We take out the bulbs, remove the sockets, make it a long cord, and those are just free extension cords. Plus the neon green extension cords they just stick out in the dark green lawn. They just stick out 2 mil. So yeah, that's the biggest expense. I still have them, and we haven't used them in years, and I still have them all in totes. So I probably actually need to sell those.
So I can't. Oh, there's a deer just walked across the front yard. We don't get a lot of them. We get a few, but not a lot in this
Nice.
neighborhood. I thought it was a big dog. I went, whoa, that's a big dog. Nope, it's a deer.
We'll get a wild turkey in the yard every once in a while, and we haven't been back in 2 years, but for many years we had our neighbor's whole backyard was filled with turkey vultures every night for many years. So wow, interesting.
Yeah, I love the wildlife, and we're on the verge of, we're just on the edge of housing, like a block over.
Oh, okay.
All open fields, so they get most of the wildlife over there. We don't get a lot of it here, but we still get the occasional deer.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So when you say, I love the idea of using those as extension cords, but you said remove the socket. So I understand, my little brain, I understand taking out the light bulb, but how are you going to how do you do that?
Here's the thing about Christmas lights, and I've said this many years. Now, I'm not a hunter, admittedly. My dad was a I don't even know how many generation farmer, and he said, I'm done with it. I'm done with everything outdoor related. So he never taught me to hunt, so I never created a passion for it. But I've always said, in an apocalyptic moment, or if I have to hunt to survive, I'm not taking a gun. I'll probably take a knife because you need a knife in the wilderness, but I am bringing Christmas light strings because they tangle on everything, and I can easily make a trap to catch something I need to survive. But yeah, we remove the sockets simply because they're going to catch on something. So we make it a nice smooth string. Just cutting it. We actually have, I think, 3 different videos on exactly how to do that. So yeah, it's simpler than it looks. Sometimes the problem, every string, let's say it's 100 count, you'll have 3, sometimes 2 if you're lucky. Normally 3 of the bulbs will be 3 wires, and those are a little bit tricky. We explain how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easier than you think it is. The biggest time consuming is removing the sockets. You just cut them off and you can rewire them. It's pretty easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He could totally do that. He's always changing ends. So basically it's not much more difficult than changing the end on a cord.
Yes. It's pretty similar to that. To turn 100 count string into an extension cord is about 10 minutes time.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
awesome. But if anybody's interested in doing that, we have a playlist on how to make your own extension cords. It's infinitely handy. Don't buy your own extension cords. Make your own. It saves you so much money. And they're already dark green. They already blend in. They're super thin, so they're not cumbersome. I think in one tote, I have 300 of them in one tote. So, yeah.
And like you said, they're already weatherproof.
Yep.
So that is a great tip right there. I'm excited about that one because I'm always looking for extension cords for stuff.
Oh yeah.
So what kind of, just give me a rough rundown of the kind of videos that you have on there.
Oh, on our actual YouTube channel, we have anymore. It's like we talked earlier about how we're going to change the name of our show over the next year. We're going to kind of morph into that. We're no longer just Christmas. We're pretty much lighting, LED floodlights, My favorite toy right now is 100% my pixels I got from Nova Stella that are color washing. We do a ton of flood lining. Again, I just like telling Alexa what color to make the house. I'm like, hey, turn, and all of my lights have names. Normally after Christmas movies. So Sparky, Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation. That's my porch light. And I have Ellen, I have Audrey, I have Russ. I think, hey, make Audrey blue, Alexa, make George green or something. Then she just does it. So we have how-to videos about how to make. A lot of folks will want to hang Christmas lights on their house, but they have no way to power it.
Right.
And you can hire an electrician to $1,000, $2,000, put conduit in and to put an exterior outlet in your house. Yep. Or you could do what we did. We do have exterior outlets, but our house was built in 1958. We have one on the front, one on the back. We needed more. And I hate bugging Darren, our electrician. I hate bugging him for extra stuff for the house. It's one thing to ask him to do stuff for the show because he's a great supporter, but I don't like bugging him too much. So what I did is we changed our porch lights to add GFCI outlets that are already built in to this particular porch light, which is a thing that exists. You can get porch lights that have outlets built into them. So that's what we did. We run power to our porch lights. Porch lights are also controlled by Alexa, which is kind of neat. You can do the switch as well. That's a great way, an easy way to power outdoor lights if you don't have exterior outlets. So kind of a neat little trick. So we have videos on that. A lot of review videos anymore. A lot of how-to videos. At some point this year, I'm guessing my target date's probably December 15th. We will officially cross 1 million views on our YouTube channel. So we're pretty excited about that. We will cross. Say it again.
Party time.
Oh, heck yeah. We should cross 5,000 subscribers probably the first week of December, I'm thinking. This is one thing about having a Christmas channel is you have people who look for your content 3 months a year. Basically from Halloween, our views start tracking until New Year's Day, and then it flatlines for most of the years, which is why probably, honestly, now that I think about it, probably the reason why we're the only YouTuber who does a year-round show, because you don't get views. And a lot of folks are in this, hey, I got to get those views. I got to get the subscribers. We just do it because we like doing it. We want to teach others how to do what we do.
Sure. And that's how you get views and subscribers, because you're doing something you enjoy doing, and that comes across. Yeah. Dana and I have talked about that many, many, many times.
Yeah, Dana's a great example. One thing I love, I don't know if Dana's still on here, but one thing I love about Dana's channel anymore, because I'm not she used to make fun of me, and that's fine because it's deservedly so, but I don't crochet. She's like, and then, oh yeah, I don't crochet. Yeah, never have in my life. I just like hanging out with all the yarn tubers. Crazy Poppy lady, Angela and I talk all the time, and she's always razzing me as well. Like, you need to learn how to do it. Like, But I love that Dana has, you can sit here and you can be with her at work. She turns her camera on and she just drives. Yeah. She's turning around in Walmart parking lot, or she's going down the interstate. I love that. I don't know how in the world she doesn't wreck out like, oh my God.
I know.
Good for her.
Right now.
Yeah. I love that Dana added that tidbit. So a lot of times I'll be at work and I'll be driving myself, but I can listen to her at least. And I can't always stop driving and comment, but I love that Dana started doing that. So that's just something that if you love what you do, and she does, she likes hanging out with us. My wife sometimes doesn't, but Dana does, which is nice. That's one of my favorite things about Dana's channel is you get to be with her at work and just kind of see the open road.
Yeah. Miss Dana, can you drop their whiskey channel, the link for their whiskey channel? I should have added that in the description, and I was remiss. So Charlie, if you've got Crazy Poppy Lady's ear, you need to tell her to come on this show. I have invited her, and she says she's afraid. So tell her I'm not scary.
I'm gonna call her out right now. Yeah, I will definitely get a hold of Angela. I'm like, hey, Angela, what are you thinking? Do it. I remember the first time she commented, I'm like, who's this crazy lady? She goes, oh, Charlie, I'm coming through your light garden and I'm leaving mysterious fairies. Like, what? what crazy lady talks like this? I'm like, is this somebody I know? Somebody pranking kind of her sense of humor. Oh, that was awesome. I love it. So I'll definitely get a hold of Angela. I'm like, hey, go on the show. What are you doing?
Yeah. So there, Dana dropped multitasking.
Thank you.
Connor McKenna, if you're still on, you guys need to go to this. This is a channel you're going to enjoy a great deal. You also have an Etsy shop? No, not Etsy.
No,
you sell.
I have Amazon. I have Teespring. So Amazon,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I got Teespring, and actually, I'm thinking about switching out of Teespring to like Spreadshop because the number one thing I get asked for is this hat. Like, hey, I want that ho hat.
I love that hat.
Because it's Christmas math, ho cubed, right? Ho ho ho. But Teespring, I have hats on there, but I can see them for sale. But if you go to my Teespring page, you can't. And as soon as the hats went on there, I released the shop to YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the merchandise. But I got a hold of Teespring, like, hey, people are complaining that they can't get the hat. I see the hat, they can't see the hat. What gives? So I'm actually thinking about getting rid of them and going to Spreadshirt. We'll see how quickly they can fix the problem. I don't know, but I don't like getting complaints like that. Hey, if somebody wants it in your service, let's do it. Yeah,
absolutely. So besides the hats, what do you have on there?
I have an Amazon. So if you go to the banner, you got the icons up top. So I have an Amazon store. People will say, hey, I need to use what you use. So I finally made an Amazon store. The problem is I have no idea to get back in there and add stuff on. I'm not YouTube.
I have the same problem. I've got the Amazon link. I got no clue how to add anything to it.
Yeah, I got the storefront, but I got no clue how to add. The problem is I have multiple accounts, and I call Amazon. I'm like, hey, I know one of these accounts can get in the store. Can you merge them? And they said, no, we can't. Like, what do you mean you're a $1 trillion
company in the world? Nope, can't do that.
So, but I have that. So, like, the LED keeper. Let me grab this. This is a must-have if you have LED lights. This bad boy does so many things. And again, I'm not a paid spokesman for anything. Anytime you see me put something on the show, that's because I recognize quality. But this is LED keeper. This fixes all things Christmas light related for LED lights. There is a red one that looks like a gun, and it is the Light Keeper Pro, and it just does incandescents. This can't fix incandescents, and that one cannot fix LEDs. This kind of looks like a little bit of a banana, but I use this thing constantly. I even have one new in box just in case this one ever goes out on me. But this is it's like a $25 toy, and it saved me $1,000 in lights easy without even trying. So this is a must-have. That's in the Amazon shop, where you just go to altalit.com, which is the company, and just buy it from them. And they have what's called the Scent Keeper Pro. Fun fact about Christmas trees you're getting ready to learn here. Christmas trees over about the last 20 years have been bred out of smelling like Christmas trees. When I was a kid, you walk into somebody's house, you instantly knew if they had a real tree or a fake tree because it smelled like a real tree. That has actually been purposely bred out of Christmas trees, so you don't get that pungent smell anymore. John DeCosmo, who owns Altalit, he's been on the show before. He recognized this as a problem, so he created a Christmas ornament that's specifically designed to hang on your real tree or any tree, really, to smell like Christmas trees. It used to be corkboard and kind of a plastic diamond-shaped design. He actually just released the new updated ceramic version, which the old version, you had to come back and fix it every 3 days. This new one he just released is good for 30 days. But that's a fun fact about Christmas trees. They are designed to not smell like Christmas trees anymore.
Well, that's ridiculous. For me, a lot of times that's the deciding factor of wanting to have a real tree.
Yeah, I agree.
The smell.
We always do a real tree ourselves. But yeah, that's a fun fact about Christmas trees.
That's
I don't know how fun it is.
I don't know how fun. That's a sad fact. Wow. That is. So I know people are loving that. Little dog just jumped up here. Loving your hat there. What does your hat run for, that one? I got to have that.
Well, this one is, I'm out of them, and then the company who makes them no longer makes them. That's why I had to kind of create my own on Teespring. But this, I would buy it for $25, and I would just turn around and sell it for $30. I wouldn't make any money on it because that $5 would go for shipping.
Right.
And I don't really anything on my Teespring page. I have it set to the lowest it can go.
Yeah.
Which is another weird thing about the hat. Teespring wouldn't let me set the price for the hat, which I thought was weird. So I think I see it for sale for $31 on there, but normally. Like a shirt that costs like $18 to me, I'll have it on there for $19. You know, but but they wouldn't let me set the price on that, which I thought was weird. But I think right now when they go live, eventually they were supposed to be live a month ago. I think they're 31, I think, but they're neat. I like it. So I have shirts for this as well. We have a lot of fun shirts on the Teespring. That's just ChristmasOnCrestline.com. We added some shirts this year, some fun exterior Christmas light shirts, exterior illumination experts. And I think it was Angela, could have been Dana. It was definitely a yarn tuber who said, "That's fun. I don't hang lights outside. I want a shirt that says interior illumination expert." I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. How did not think about that? So I'll have those shirts come out at some point this holiday season as well.
Oh, good. That's good.
See, Dog liked the idea.
Oh yeah, he's all over it. Miss Dana also said to check out Cafe Press. Have you looked into them also?
I have not looked at Cafe. I've never heard of Cafe Press. So thank you, Dana, for that.
Yeah, she's in the know about all this stuff.
One cool thing about Spreadshirt, because I have buddies that use it, is they will. I don't think it costs them money. I think it's free service. They actually put actors or models, if you will, in your gear and then put that on your site, which I thought, oh, that's kind of maybe I need to do that. So
Come on. You can come up and say hi. Big Puppy. We've got the little puppy, and I don't know if you can see Big Puppy. Yeah, Big Puppy. There's Big Puppies. Here's his ears.
Big Puppy.
Big Puppy, yes.
Nice. We have a Doshlador that's half lab and half Dachshund, so it looks like a lab version of a wiener dog.
Yes. Well, does anybody have any other questions? I see some new people coming. Hey, Peppermint. I'm glad that you made it.
Peppermint Stitches. Hello, Peppermint. Lulu's in here. Hey, Lulu. I know Lulu.
Yeah. Well, and because you are a muggle and welcome into the crochet world, a lot of people do recognize your name. And I did find you because of Miss Dana. So, and I want to say it probably was the summertime giveaway. And I saw you on there, and I'm like, oh, I need to go check him out. That sounds really interesting. And
it used to be Dana did, or still is. Dana still does hers, and then Haas from Off Kilter Homestead would do the Harvest Moon giveaway, which he modeled after Dana. But he just moved into a house and had some health problems, so he didn't do it this year. But we'll be back next year.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you and yours will join us on Monday Night Bingo. We have a really good time, and we have prizes. Unfortunately, mostly yarn related, but not always. Not always yarn related.
Anything I get immediately goes to my mother-in-law, who loves yarn, and
there you go.
All that, so it works out.
There you go. Then definitely pop in there. I know that you've got a lot to do. You got to get back to doing it, and I have to get ready for work.
Well, you know what? We're both going to have fun today. You get to go to work and deal with crafts, and I get to go to the front yard and deal with Christmas lights. So it works out both.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so very much. Don't forget to join us on Monday for bingo. And then Tuesday, we have Spring the Fiber Enthusiast. That's going to be 8 a.m. Pacific. So for the most part, the next few weeks are going to be at our regular time. As always, we adjust times to accommodate our guests' needs because they are the most important. Not a problem at all. I'm so happy you were able to come on here.
Me too. This is awesome. Thank you so much for having a chit chat with me.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, Max.